Hello, welcome once again to another edition of the Cory Sauter Show here at Studio One, Marshall Local Cable Access, and at smsumustangs.com. I'm Kelly Loft, Athletic Communications Director at SMSU, and we're going to talk Mustang football again this week and take a look at the highlights from last Saturday night's game against the University of Sioux Falls. Mustangs played tough but lost 41-22 to the Cougars. Mustangs return home this Saturday night for homecoming, 5 o'clock kickoff at the Regional Event Center. And we'll talk much more about that game later on in the show, but joining us is the head coach, Cory Sauter. Again, the Mustangs dropping a 41-22 decision to number 25 ranked University of Sioux Falls last Saturday in Sioux Falls. The Cougars now 5-0 overall. The Mustangs dropped to 1-4 overall and 1-4 in the conference. And Coach, we'll look at the highlights and really get in depth and talk about that game, but your overall thoughts. Obviously a tough week coming after the Crookston loss, and kind of curious how the team is going to respond. And I tell you what, despite giving up an early touchdown, your team fought with one of the top teams in the conference and got it down to a one-possession game midway through the fourth quarter. Your overall thoughts of the contest?
Well, they're a really good team. They have a lot of firepower. They have the potential to score pretty much at any point of the ball game, and they've got explosive players. And whenever you play a team like that, you're just holding on to just you want to make sure you stay in the ball game, and we were able to do that. We were able to get into the fourth quarter. We were able to create turnovers, and however, we did have some turnovers on our own side, and so they ended up being, I believe, +1 on the turnover ratio. They just played overall a better ball game. Our intensity, our enthusiasm was where it needed to be. I was really thrilled to see our guys, our sideline, our whole operation. They played their hearts out, and unfortunately we didn't come out on top. And after the game, you have your win column, loss column, and we can't take moral victories, so to speak. We've got to find ways to win ball games, and our guys are really excited about moving forward. But I really believe that they gave really everything that they had in that ball game.
Yeah, you're right. The Mustangs defensively forced some big turnovers, and the Mustangs were able to take advantage of it. And the one thing that was great to see, the Mustangs able to establish the running game. Coach, you rushed for 161 yards, and both Warren Matthews and Gannon Moore, carrying the load and did a great job. And that was something that, if you can do that each week, it just shows that you can compete with anybody. If you can run the football, and that opened up the passing game, and we saw that with Cody Condon down the middle a few times, and various receivers making catches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, they've given up, I believe, only 90 yards a game rushing, and for us to get that part going was important. Also, in addition to that, just third down conversions was good to see. We were close to 50% there, and it wasn't like all of them were short yardage situations. We had some 3rd and 10s, and it was just nice for us to finally get that part of our game going. We were able to hit one with the pass, we hit one with the run, and so we were pretty two-dimensional, on third downs, which was good to see. In the past, we've been a little bit more pass-oriented, and we changed it up a little bit and really surprised them in some of those calls.
Yeah, you talked about last week going into the game, they had not given up a third and +10 play all season. And the second drive of the game, we've got 2 of them. We convert and get some points out of it. And the third drive got some points. We did a fumble, and Sioux Falls took an early lead, but you came back and got the field goal. 8 of 17 on third down. You're 2 of 2 on 4th down conversions, and able to have the ball for 30 minutes, pretty even there as well. And I still think we'll get more into the highlights shortly, but just the overall, as you mentioned, the enthusiasm all week and getting ready for that game. And the guys know there's still a lot of football left, and that showed to have some heart and to keep going despite going down early, to have a chance. And I know Sioux Falls really, they knew that, but they earned the respect, obviously, of Southwest and vice versa.
Yeah, I really thought our guys put the Crookston game behind them, and that was very evident during the week of practice. That was very evident in pregame warm-ups and ultimately in the football game. And I was just really excited about just their focus level during that game. I mean, really, score wasn't an issue at any point for those guys. It didn't affect the way they played. But for us, I mean, we did some things that we hurt ourselves. I mean, even on our first drive of the ball game, I mean, we ended up having a 3rd and 1 where we ended up stumbling, and we would have had an easy first down. You know, it's just one of those things that happened. Also, too, with the fumble. I mean, we were driving, going on the inside the 40-yard line, and had some sustained drives. You know, which is good to see against a very good defense. And like I said, they've got a lot of talent on that Sioux Falls team, and we were able to hang with them for quite a bit of the ball game, and it's just one of those things where your window of opportunities are going to be that much smaller against a team that's stacked up a little bit higher than you.
Well, we talked about it in last week's show, you know, dealing with some injuries and whatnot, and Tyler Erickson did not play in the game with an injury, and we talked about somebody's got to always step up. And Abe Costas had a very good season, but he comes through and has a career high in catches and yards, 7 for 71 yards, 6 catches, 63 yards for Cody Condon. And that's a prime example of what we're talking about is, you know, other guys need to step up and make some plays, and those guys did, and Tyler Pashon was able to find them.
Yeah, it's just good to see our offense and our team in general just be able to you know, operate our system, you know, and we've got a set game plan that we practice all week, but you and I know that it comes down to the players. I mean, you dial up something on 3rd down, you dial up something, you know, defensively on 3rd down, now you just got to execute it. And, you know, everybody knows what their assignment is, you know, whether it's man coverage, zone coverage, whether it's a run play, pass play, they all have a certain set of rules that they got to follow to make sure that they give themselves the best opportunity to be successful in that play. And guys did that. They trusted the guy next to them, the guy behind them, the guy in front of them, and good things happen when you do that. And that was just good to see overall. I mean, I think we're much better in 3rd downs as well. We were able to get off the field defensively. We created turnovers. Balls were on the ground, and we were able to get 2 out of the 4, which was good to see. And you know, so it was just a good indication that guys were playing hard.
Well, you talk about, I was just going to lead into that about playing hard, Coach, and hustling downfield, and you look at some of the turnovers, and the first turnover we picked up, Donovan Woods kind of, you know, fortunate the quarterback dropped the football, but later on in the 3rd quarter, downfield, maybe about an 8-9 yard gain, the Sioux Falls running back running downfield, and you know, Blake Pennick and Jacob Letzo right there to force that fumble, and Pennick and Letzo comes up with it. I mean, that was a great example of what you're talking about is, you know, those are interior linemen, but hustling down 10 yards downfield and making a play.
Right, and that's why we always preach, you know, play to the whistle, play to the end, because you just never know how those things pan out. A lot of times you're not going to force a fumble, you're not going to create something, but if they do make a mistake, you're there to scoop up the football and be on top of the football. But it is good to see just the overall mentality of our football team right now, despite the record. You know, and I know a lot of teams would be very content to just kind of throw the towel in and kind of go through the motions. That was not the case whatsoever. I mean, these guys are hungry to get out there and play the game. You know, we lost a game. Guess what? Now we get to play another one for homecoming. And so short memory, you got to play the next one, the next play, the next series, the next game. And for some of these guys, it's their last go-around. I mean, these seniors have been here for a while, but really since when I first got here in 2008, these guys now came in that same class, essentially. You know, Tyler Pashon, I mean, I still remember to this day, you know, meeting with him for that first meeting and talking about expectations and those things, and all of a sudden now he's a senior, and for a guy that wasn't anticipating playing the game, what a gutsy performance by him. You know, he's not 100%, and usually you couldn't tell that. And he's fighting through some things, and but he's a leader, he's a fighter, and we're really thrilled to have guys like him to lead and direct our football team.
You are watching the Cory Sauter Show here at Studio One, Marshall Local Cable Access. Again, we're talking about the Mustangs and Sioux Falls game. We'll see the highlights here shortly. And one thing I want to touch on, and you know, we talk about how each game just comes down to a couple of plays, and you talk about how close we are at certain times, and you know, getting within 5, and can we get that defensive stop, or we're within 5 or 4 points, and the defense does get the stop, and the offense has to go 3 and out. So, you know, obviously you can't get a stop every time, and maybe you can't score every possession, but somehow we put these things together. We're a team that can be reckoned with, and hopefully it happens this Saturday.
Right. It's a game of momentum. It's a game of opportunity. It's a game of calculated chances, so to speak. And when you get on a roll, that's something you just got to make sure we keep that momentum going on our side, and vice versa. Things are going against us. We've got to make sure that somebody steps up and makes a play, because that thing can get ugly if you're not mentally strong enough to persevere through those things.
Yeah. Again, the Mustangs coming up short, 41-22 at halftime. Mustangs trailed 17-3, and Sioux Falls scored early in the third quarter to take a 20-3 lead, but Southwest answered back with a couple of touchdowns and trailed 27-22 with just over 10 minutes to go in the game. But the Cougars able to get a 45-yard pass, and we talk about the play, maybe just a couple of plays before that, a third and a medium range in their own territory, and the defense, had to force the defensive backs cover their guys great. Quarterback, just athletic ability, could scramble out and picked up a first down, and that's the little things we're talking about right there. It's just a great athlete making a play for the Cougars.
Yeah, I mean that's about players making plays, and you can draw up any type of defense, but when a guy scrambles like that, there's sometimes not an answer for that. I mean, you like to say that your defensive line can get off a block and make that tackle, but that quarterback's pretty good. He's pretty athletic, and there's a reason why he initially went to a Division I school. And so I talked to him before the game. He is just a tremendous kid, and a great leader for them as well. And but he made a play happen, and that's just part of it, part of football.
Yeah, it was. Again, the Mustangs dropped 41-22. Let's take a look at the highlights from this last weekend's games in Sioux Falls at Bob Young Field. First time the Mustangs and Cougars have played since 1979, and we open up here, Coach, on defense. A 3rd and 10 coming up, and the Mustangs make a stop.
Yeah, we've got Drew McReynolds. We have different packages, and Drew's in this package playing the corner spot, and just a great form tackle, allows us to get off the football field.
It's a true freshman, Drew McReynolds. Mustangs on 3rd and 14, and pick up a huge first down.
Yep, we've got a nice play here where we've got the perimeter guys blocking. Does a phenomenal job. We actually run the ball on 3rd and long, and we end up getting a big play out of it. And it was a conservative call, but it was something that we haven't shown a ton this year, and I thought it was a good situation for us to call it.
That's Warren Matthews on the run, and here's Will Kirka making a catch in the flat.
Yep, this allowed us to get a first down again, and Kirk is really playing well. He's blocking, he's catching extremely well within our offense, and here we've got a play-action pass. The ball's a little bit behind him, but he is able to adjust to it and get us an additional first down.
Here's a screen to Cody Condon. Great job by Condon to make that, and Alex Cedro picking up the blitz for the Mustangs as well.
Yeah, we got a tackle. Sprint out to the right side, and we ended up throwing back to Cody, and it's one of those plays where really he could have easily been stopped on this play. Right there, he should have been tackled. He's able to reach out. He's got those long arms. He's able to get us an additional first down.
Mustangs would get a 26-yard field goal by Lance Schuweiler to cut into the deficit 7-3. We go on second quarter, 3rd down and 6, and Donovan Woods with the tackle to force a 4th down.
Yep, and he's really blitzing off the left side. When we look at the end zone copy, he's on the left side of the screen. Really great pursuit, takes a great angle, is able to get his ankle. We're able to really force them into a 4th down situation.
USF boots a 54-yard field goal, a school record, to take a 10-3 lead. Mustangs, after picking up a 4th and 1, get a big run by Gannon Moore, who had 50 yards rushing on 10 carries.
Yeah, we knew going in the game that it was going to be tough running against this defensive front. They got some good players, but we had really nice blocking up front on the perimeter, and Gannon's a good, tough runner for us.
Mustangs pin the Cougars deep, and then the Mustangs' Blake Pennick, as you mentioned, had a forced fumble later in the contest with a big hit, and the rest of the defense swarming here, and that's what they needed deep in their territory.
Yep, Blake is on the right side of the screen. He knifes inside and makes the play here, but just good seeing our young players making plays, and Blake's still got 3 more years after this.
Here's a young player, Donovan Woods. Quarterback Perkins scrambling out and just dropped the football, and there's Donovan Woods to recover.
Yeah, we got a gift there, and but hey, we need to get a few breaks here and there, and the good thing is he's right there on the spot, ready to play to the whistle, and he ends up falling on it.
So that goes to halftime. Mustangs trail 17-3, and the Mustangs start with Sioux Falls starts with the ball and picks up a lead at 20-3, but the Mustangs come back and get some big points here and a big third and down conversion here for the Mustangs.
Yep, we've got a 3rd and 2 here. Tyler takes a big hit on the play, but Adam Olson does a nice job finding the hole and makes a nice grab and gets down and gets the first down for us.
After a defensive holding call, Warren Matthews, a 15-yard gain down to the 1-yard line.
Yeah, you'd like for Warren to keep his feet here, but very, very close. So his punishment is we're going to give the touchdown to Tyler Pashong on the next play. But no, he's running really well right now. There you can see the quarterback sneak to help cut the deficit.
You'll see it here. Tight formation. The Mustangs get the push. 20-10. Mustangs get the touchdown, and now here's that turnover. Levetzo, the recovery, and momentum swinging the way of the Mustangs.
Absolutely, and you can just see our players are really stringing things out and really in position to get to the football. And like I said, when you play hard, when you pursue to the football, good things happen. And you can see right there, we've got a lot of guys in position to get that fumble, and they're fighting like heck to make sure we get that ball at the end of the play.
Here's a great run by Warren Matthews, great block by Jordan Cross, and freeing Matthews almost for the touchdown.
Yep, and that's the difference between a 5-yard gain and a 30-yard gain is the ability to block on the perimeter. You know, our offensive line did a nice job, but once he bounces it, that's when big plays can happen, and Jordan did a phenomenal job with that block on the perimeter.
Perfect pass here, Pashon to Condon right down the middle of the field.
Yeah, this is 3rd and 5. I mean, they're bringing pressure, they're bringing heat, and it's one-on-one, our guy, Cody Condon, versus their safety, and it's a perfect throw, a great catch, and a big momentum play as well.
Block PAT, so the Mustangs trail 20-16, and they get the stop they need, do the Mustangs, and here's Bobowitz and A.J. Page with a big tackle for loss.
Yeah, both of them on the play, and you know, one thing about A.J. is he's leading the NSIC in tackles for defensive linemen, and so he's having a great year for us, and Bobo as well.
Going to the 4th quarter, the Mustangs screen pass here to Warren Matthews, and a good blocking by the receivers, T.J. Dean and Abe Koss.
Yep, and you'll see this is clinic tape for blocking on the perimeter. I mean, we're locking those guys up. I mean, they're stuck to their defenders, and it allows us to get additional yardage and create a first down.
And here's a big first down reception. Abe Koss, again, 7 catches for 71 yards and right past the sticks to keep it moving.
Right, and great protection. I mean, our offensive line gave up 0 sacks, 50 attempts. I mean, that's 2 ball games worth of throws. And you know, Abe makes the catch to get us another first down.
Following a penalty, Mustangs get a 9-yard reception here, Condon from Pashon to set up a 3rd and manageable situation.
Right, and this is just a little tight end delay. You know, we're looking down the field, which we have legit routes that we'll throw to. They were covered. We drop it off to Cody. Again, the pass protection allows you to get to that 3rd progression.
Another example here after a holding penalty. Mustangs keep it going with Koss down to the 33-yard line. Takes a big hit, but sets up 3rd and short.
Abe is having just a great year. I mean, he's just a tough kid. He takes hits. He's able to go up and make plays, protect himself as best as he can, but he's really playing well right now.
Here's a picture-perfect blocking for the Mustangs here on just after a first down conversion at Gannon Moore, and easy touchdown here. Not easy. He makes it look easy, but the speed right to the end zone.
You can see the safety helps over the top. They're really thinking pass in this situation, and we get a big hole, and it's just great to see Gannon hit that 100%, and just a great career for him so far. And we're hoping that he can break the record sooner than later.
Yep, that touchdown by Gannon Moore, his 29th of his career in his 4 years here at Southwest Minnesota State, and that ties Robert Lipsey for the career record for rushing touchdowns. And obviously he's had a very good career. He's got also in the top 10 in career touchdowns total as well, a couple of receiving, and it's a great career for Gannon, and nice for him to do that in his hometown in Sioux Falls to tie that record. And again, we've got several games left to hopefully pass that record, and hopefully he can do it again this weekend. Again, here's some of the stats. Warren Matthews, 99 yards rushing in the game, 14 carries. Gannon Moore, 10 carries for 50 yards. Tyler Pashon, 28 of 50 passing for 262 and a touchdown. And again, a lot of different receivers making receptions. Koss with 7 catches, Condon with 6, Dean with 4. Moore and Kirker with 2, and Warren Matthews with 2 as well. And then Adam Olson, Jordan Cross, and Britt Wickett also with a touch with reception in the game. And you'll just continue to see that different guys coming in there, and we don't have maybe just that go-to guy, especially with Tyler Erickson out with an injury that various guys can do it, and all have that ability, and each week it could be a kind of a new hero.
Yeah, every week, I mean, certain guys may have 1 catch, certain guys may have 8 catches. It just all depends on what we see, and based on the game plan and things of that nature. But we have an unselfish group. They all know that when their number's called, they're expected to make a big play, and sometimes they're not going to be the primary receiver, and it's just good to see that we've just got a good, close-knit group that's willing and able to do that.
On the defensive side of the ball, Joe Stupka, 8 solo tackles, led the way for Southwest, and Blake Pennick had 7 tackles, including that forced fumble in the third quarter. Tate Bunkers with a tackle for loss, and had 5 solo stops in the game for the Mustangs. So Southwest now, after a 2-game road swing, now coming home, and we'll have Wayne State for homecoming 5 o'clock at the Regional Event Center. And Coach, we talk about the Wildcats. Right now they come in at 4-1 record, and a team that we've struggled over the years. We've had some great games, some close ones. Last year was tied at halftime, and then the Cats were able to pull away, and we've not beaten them since 2004, and we've played them a couple of times for homecoming, so there's lots of things to hopefully we can turn around. But let's talk about the Wildcats, a very good team, and probably one of the best, not only defensive players, but just one of the best football players in our conference, and I would say in the country as well, on their team on the defensive side. Let's talk about the Cats. First of all, their defense.
Yeah, their defense, they're very basic. They're very simple. They don't have to do a whole lot because they've got some talent there, and it all starts up front. They really have 2 phenomenal defensive ends, and Richard Daniel is as good as they come. I mean, you watch him, and he does things that are just unexplainable at the Division II level. He is extremely fast. I remember last year when we played against him, we had a situation where we had a screenplay, and Daniels was in the backfield, Warren was down the field, and Daniel actually chased him down and for a 10-yard gain. I mean, it was just incredible to watch, and when he turns it on, I mean, he's as good as they come, and I can't say enough good things about him. Everyone's aware of him. Everyone tries to double him, but somehow he still is productive. He has 7 sacks. He still has, I think, 11 and a half tackles for loss, and 6 forced fumbles, and he's all over the place. And so we're going to have to find a way to get him contained some shape or form. And I don't know if that's possible or not, but we'll certainly try. So that's them in a nutshell on defense. Very simple, and they're going to let their playmakers make plays. Same thing on offense. They're not very flashy. They're not going to do a ton of funky things. I mean, they're very, very simple, very basic. And so it's a good week for us just to get back to basics. We say that every week, but you really always need to focus on those bare minimum things that you have to do well. And if you do those little things well, that leads into the greater ththings, the things that we want to accomplish. Converting third downs, getting off the field, minimizing turnovers. All those things play into the picture, and so it'll be one of those games where we've got to stay in the ball game, because you do not want to be 3rd and long against this team, because they will pin their ears back, and you don't want to be in a situation where you got Daniels in a one-way go with your guys. So it'll be a fun matchup, homecoming. For our guys, we really just treat it as one more game. That's all it is. It's a football game. We don't need to treat it any more than what it needs to be. I want our guys to be excited. That'll happen. I mean, that's just by nature. But I don't want them to a point where they're not focusing on the things they need to be focused on.
Yeah, again, that's a 5 o'clock kickoff. We talked about this, Coach, preparing each week, but we've got 5 games down. They're still not even halfway through the season yet. Yeah. Still 6 games. And
not until
4.
Halftime.
Yeah, that's right. And 4 games is still at the Regional Event Center this season. It starts up this Saturday night, 5 o'clock. For homecoming against Wayne State College. The Mustangs have not won a homecoming game since 2007, and Prior to that, it was, I think, 2001 or so, and we've lost 9 of the last 10 homecoming games. So hopefully the Mustangs can reverse that trend this weekend at the Regional Event Center as the Mustangs take on the Wayne State College Wildcats, who come in with a record of 4-1, and the Mustangs at 1-4. Should be a fun night. Hope to see you out at the stadium. Well, that's going to wrap up this week's edition of the Cory Sauter Show. For the head coach, Cory Sauter, I'm Kelly Loft. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, go Mustangs.